A five-star defensive tackle, Maason Smith, throughout his senior season. It was announced on Monday that Rivals have named him the nation's top overall player. One person who has not been surprised by that jump, obviously, has been Julie Boudouin, who has been there the entire time. In fact, she is documenting Maason Smith's senior season that you can find at Tiger Details. You can also find it on her Twitter account, Big Man on the Bayou. It's been around throughout the Maason Smith senior season, and now Maason is the number one player in the country going in to announcement season. And Julie joins us here on OTB. Julie, thank you for the time this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Are you surprised that Maason is the number one overall player in the country after seeing everything you have watched and witnessed over the last 365 days?
I was a little surprised that he made the jump from 5 to 1, but the more I thought about it, the more it was kind of a given. It was almost obvious when you see Maason up close and you watch the things that he can do. I mean, the guy's just scratching the surface. I mean, his potential is limitless. So, surprised, but also not surprised.
He was given his invitation to the All-American Bowl earlier this week. Is that where he's going to make his announcement?
No, he's not. He has plans to make his announcement on December 16th, on the first day of early signing period, and he'll be doing that at his school.
You've witnessed a lot of recruiting up close in covering this, but now with the number one player in the country and somebody who has projected to be this type of player throughout his senior season, being a top 5 player all season, how wild has this recruitment gotten?
It's been pretty wild. I mean, like I said, it's crazy to see it kind of unfold. I mean, I had no idea filming this months ago that at the end of the season he'd be the number one player in the country. I mean, in all honesty, I personally wanted to do this just because we're both from Houma, so I thought it was really cool. No one from this area has ever been as highly recruited as he has. So no, I had no idea that when it all ended, it was going to be the number one player in the country, and it was going to get as wild as it got. I had no idea that there was going to be all this package deal with him and Corey and all of this stuff. So it's been pretty cool to see. I don't know if the Houma area is going to ever see somebody like this, at least not in the next couple of years or anything like that. Not to his caliber. I mean, he's just a kind of a really special player.
Julie, we just discussed it a bit last segment, but what's your opinion on the idea that this is like a make or break recruit for kind of the psyche of the LSU fan base?
I don't know how much more the LSU fan base can take if they don't win. Let's be honest, right? I mean, I do think he is the big fish. I mean, of course, they want to land Corey Foreman, but I mean, Maason is in LSU's backyard. He's in Coach O's backyard, basically. They've been recruiting him for years. He has great relationships with all of his staffers. It's a position that Coach O knows well. It's a position that Coach O coaches. I mean, and now he's the number one player in the country. I don't see how you can miss out on that type of talent. Obviously, there's still a lot of other big fish out there. I named Corey Foreman. Tristan Lee, some people might say he's a bigger fish at this point because of the need at O-line. But, yeah, Maason is definitely can't miss.
What about Corey Foreman? What is the latest on his recruiting, where he stands, his relationship with Maason, all of it?
They still have a great relationship, and as far as I understand, they talk frequently. They may talk every day. They play video games. I mean, Maason gets out of school pretty early, and Corey's homeschooling this semester because of the virus and everything. So they talk frequently. As far as Corey goes, my understanding is he should be in town this weekend for the Alabama LSU game. So that's a good sign. This will be his third trip to Baton Rouge. He and Maason will hang out. But, I mean, there's still other schools in play. I mean, he's a guy that, I mean, these other schools, the USCs, the Clemsons, the Georgia, Arizona State, all those other programs, they're not going to stop until the ink is signed. And you know, I don't – he's at this point, I think we're all guessing, honestly. I still have a future cast on him to LSU. today I don't feel as good about that as I did maybe a couple weeks ago, but I knew that going in. Like, this is going to be one of those recruitments that's going to go down till the very end.
Julie Boudouin, who covers sports and recruiting for Tiger Details. You can follow her on Twitter at Julie_Boudouin. She's been in the back pocket of Maason Smith, the 5-star defensive tackle, throughout his senior season, documenting it. You can watch it, Big Man on the Bayou, on Tiger Details, and check out a couple of the episodes on her Twitter account. You can explain this better than we can because you cover it every day, but we've tried to explain it and just kind of from our point of view and talking to some of these recruits and talking to the college coaches, how much does the outcome of Saturday night's game mean to the recruit and what they want to decide into the future?
You know, I think for some it might matter, and for some it doesn't. You know, talking to Maason, talking to some other recruits or parents of recruits, they know. I mean, you just look at the talent that LSU lost. I mean, of course there's going to be a drop-off. Now, I don't think we thought it would be what we're seeing.
Sure.
But they know that. I mean, Maason will tell you, like, it has nothing to do with him. He still looks at LSU the same, and they'll be on the rise again soon. It's basically the message that he'll tell anybody.
I don't want you to I'm not asking you to speak for anyone, but from your point of view, have you been able to judge or gauge who's been able to build the best relationship with him? It seems like this is coming down to Kirby Smart, Ned Ogeron, and Nick Saban. Just from your point of view, do you see somebody that's been able to kind of dig in a little deeper?
I mean, I definitely would say LSU. Just because of the number of staffers. I mean, that entire staff is basically recruiting him. He has a great relationship with Coach Ogeron. He has a great relationship with Christian Lacouture. So, I mean, and don't get me wrong, he talks to those other coaches also. I mean, he's a very humble, respectful young man. Like, he returns phone calls when they call. He gets to those coaches when they call him, or if he misses the call. So he's definitely still talking to those other programs. But, yeah, I would definitely say LSU is kind of throwing the whole staff at him at this point.
Julie, excellent stuff. We appreciate you jumping on with not a lot of notice this morning, as I know it can get crazy, especially this time of season for somebody covering recruiting. Remember, Julie Boudouin is on Twitter at Julie_Boudouin, and you can follow everything at Tiger Details as she is covering Maason Smith as the #1 player in the country. You will not find better coverage anywhere than Julie Boudouin's Twitter account. Thank you for the update this morning.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you, Julie.
There's Julie checking in this morning from the Bayou Parishes as she gives an update on Maason Smith, as Smith was tabbed the #1 player in the country by Rivals earlier this week. It's coming down to a Georgia, LSU, Alabama battle that Smith will ultimately decide on December 16th. So we appreciate Julie for dropping some insight there. We'll close that hour 2 next.